What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we want to talk about rich and poor because I thought this was very interesting. There was a comment that was posted and I tried to read as many comments as possible, and some comments, they just stick out to me. And this was one of them. So we're going to take a look at that. But first off, on this channel, we talk about news that matters. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go. I want to go right over to this comment here. And this is Mr. International here. He posted this comment. It says, "Keep voting in the rich. You get what you vote for." Now, I want to talk about this because it's a very simple comment, but it makes you think. Let's think about the politicians that we are voting into office. Vast majority of these politicians are wealthy. They have money. They're multimillionaires. And just to run a campaign in today's age, you have to be able to raise at least $1 million. And so these politicians, not only are they raising that money, but in actuality, they have millions of dollars. And so when you start looking at these different proposals that are going through, we're looking at infrastructure bills and all this different stuff that goes through, and you start hearing about taxing the rich. Well, the reality is taxing the rich is taxing these politicians. And there are a lot of politicians out there that don't want their taxes to be raised. People in general, we don't want our taxes to be raised. So how eager are politicians to move forward with taxing themselves, basically? And so I wanted to take a look, and let's go ahead and I'll show you guys this here. I wanted to take a look, and this is just Wikipedia. So I just pulled this up, Google search. You can pull up this same information, but let's start to look at how much some of these politicians make. And we talked about this before in previous videos, but just understand they all don't make the same. So the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, she's looking at about $223,500 per year. That's what she's making. So the majority leader and the minority leader, so both Chuck Schumer as well as Mitch McConnell, they're making in the neighborhood of $193,400. And let's move down a little bit further. The President pro tempore, the Senate, $193,400. And senators and House of Representatives, they're all making $174,000. Okay, so they're all making at least that. Now, when you think about that in real terms, when it comes to money, I mean, that's a lot of money. Most people will not have the luxury of making $174,000 a year ever in their whole career working a 9-to-5 job. But these politicians, that's their bottom line. That's their minimum wage, if you want to look at it that way. That's what they're making, $174,000. Now, let's get back to this because I want to show you some of the wealthiest politicians that are in Congress. Okay. Now, this is based on 2018. So obviously there's some more recent information, but like I said, I just pulled up Wikipedia, and some of these numbers have probably changed, but they've probably gone up. So we're looking at Mark Warner. Okay. He is the Democratic senator out of Virginia. And his net worth is $214 million. Okay. So, and you see there are a lot of people, a lot of politicians up here in the multi-millions when it comes down to it. Chris Collins, another one here, number 4, $154 million. Nancy Pelosi, number 6, $114 million. That's the net worth. Dianne Feinstein there, $87 million. So you see a lot of these politicians are really making a lot of money. And so if you really are making that much money, do you really want to pay more in taxes? Because you might fall into these categories. Now, what they try to do, what a lot of these politicians will try to do is they will try to focus on topics, focus on issues that will gain them votes. That way they can get reelected. But in the reality, do they really want to move forward with taxing the rich? And that's what you have to ask yourself when it comes to these different proposals and stuff that we're seeing. How eager are they to tax the rich? And so I just thought it was interesting. When we start looking at different politicians and voting for these different politicians, most of them are wealthy. And that is because it takes a lot of money to run a campaign. And I think ultimately what we have to do, and we've heard of this talk before, campaign reform. I think we're in an age right now that is perfect for the average person becoming a politician. Okay, I think it's perfect because we have the internet, we have YouTube. If you wanted to start a YouTube channel and start talking about different issues and then run for office, you don't need that much money if you have a following. Because when you look at different platforms like Facebook, like YouTube, like all these different platforms, Instagram, you have a way to reach out to people and you don't have to pay anything. If I put out a YouTube video, a commercial, let's say it was a campaign commercial, I don't have to pay for that. I just have to pay to actually make the video, but that's it. And so because of that, I think we're in an age now where campaign reform, we could look at a situation where we don't have to spend millions. You don't have to spend millions to run a campaign. And so you don't have to have all these different donors come in. That's another thing. If you have to raise a lot of money, then you are beholden to a lot of different people, or maybe a few different people that provide the money for your campaign. And so that would mean that you need to cater to them. And so when we're looking at the politicians right now, yes, we are voting for a lot of politicians that are very, very wealthy. And because we're voting for a lot of these different politicians, we might not be getting that representation for the average Joe, for the middle class person, or for the poor. Because if you have a lot of money and we're talking about someone needs to be taxed, money needs to come in from somewhere. And so is it taxing the rich or is it taxing the poor? How do we figure this out? You're looking at some politicians and they're saying, well, yeah, let's tax the rich. But behind closed doors, they're like, I don't want to tax the rich because that would mean that I have to pay more in taxes. So that was a great comment by Mr. International. Thank you for the comment. Now, I wanted to pose this to you guys. What do you think about politicians? Do you think they make too much money? I'm sure most people will probably say they make too much money. How do we fix this? How do we fix this situation where we will have politicians that will represent us and politicians that are at our level? One thing that I do want to say right before we go here is when it comes to politicians and how much they're making, I think, and I've been this way the whole time when it comes to their salary, they should be making the national average. What that national average is, let's say it's $54,000 or $60,000. Let's say that's the national average. That's what they should be bringing home. They should not make more than the national average. They shouldn't be making $174,000. So in all reality, someone making $174,000, that's not the poor. That's not the middle class. And so when it comes down to it, these politicians, they should be making that national average. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about this whole topic that we've been talking about. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.